Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of Chase Chats. We have a very special guest tonight, Coach Drinkwitz, head coach, University of Missouri football team, where I went to college, Mizzou. Want to give a big shout out to Socialive right now for hooking us up with this wonderful platform. So easy to use. I'm actually on a computer, but our coach is on a phone, and it's interchangeable. You can go live to multiple different platforms. So without further ado, let's see if we can get Coach in the room.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Coach, how's it going?
I'm pretty confident that when Mike Golick is off Golick and Wingo, you're going on in his place. I always believe in competition. I think you're right for that, man.
Oh, Coach, I appreciate that. It's been a fun time so far doing these, and the whole point of these Chase Chats was just to give some people a little bit of taste of sport, some raw organic material. And that's what we're doing now. We've had going on 3 weeks, and you're the very first start of Mizzou week. We got Coach Pinkel on Friday, and I want to let people know that we are currently working with the university, and you probably know a little bit about this. We're going to have a reunion. There's going to be 10 guys on Chase Chats. I don't know when it's coming, but it's coming soon. 10 guys from the 07 team that are going to get and talk about some of the games. We're going to talk football, maybe a fundraising aspect to it. We're still working it out. But you were officially the kickoff to Mizzou week. So how's it going? How's quarantine?
Man, quarantine it's the craziest thing I've ever experienced in all my years of coaching. I've never gotten to eat at home so much with my family, which has been awesome. But it's as athletes, as coaches, we're always used to a routine, and this has thrown our routines out of whack. But I try to look at the positives. It's helped us slow down, find out what's really important. It's helped us connect with our players at a different level. So it's not just about football and school. It's about what's going on in their life, how's their family doing, and being able to connect at a different level. So I think just like anything, you got to try to find the positives and accentuate those, and then, deal with the negatives.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And you hit it right on the head, man. Like, as athletes and as coaches, we are so used to routine, and everything we do is routine oriented. Some would say it's crazy, but we say it's normal. And so when we're out of our norm, things can get a little rocky. Things can get a little bit just like weird, because like for me, take for instance, I'm going through free agency. Well, not anymore. I was going through free agency.
Right.
So I signed with a new team, the Detroit Lions. Have yet to see the facility, have yet to meet the coaches face to face. We don't have a place to live. We still have a place in Chicago. It's sitting on the market because of the virus and everything that's going on. So like, I can only imagine, and I know a lot of people, I've got a lot of questions about this on Twitter, like every program is different. So like for your program, what are you guys doing? How are you guys like staying in constant contact with the guys, making sure first and foremost that their health is okay? Secondly, right, like that their academics are in line, because that's more important, right? Student athlete, You're a student first, you're an athlete second. That's more important than the athlete part. And then thirdly, the athlete part. Sort of just give everyone an inside look on maybe a daily routine or schedule that you guys have.
Well, I mean, thank God this didn't happen 15 years ago when you had to do the old circle number. At least we have the ability to have multiple group thread text. You can FaceTime you can have multiple FaceTimes. But what a normal day starts like with us is we sit down, we sent out about 8 a.m. a workout for the day. And, we can't require it, but we can send out with a YouTube video that has a YouTube channel that's the demonstration of what our workout is. And then they have, just like their normal class schedule, they're supposed to log in, go to their classes, go to their tutoring. On Monday, we had 100% attendance to all classes, all tutoring, all study session, which was phenomenal. I really was appreciative of our guys of that. At 2:00 on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday, we have a position meeting. On Wednesdays, we have a team meeting. And we're still installing offense, defense. We're going over individual plans, practice plans. Today on Wednesdays, we try to do a culture topic. And I think really for me, the biggest challenge right now, as you know, and what you're going to experience going to Detroit is the number one thing you have to do with a new football team is you have to implement your culture, speak the same language, and get everybody on the same page going in the same direction. It really doesn't matter what you do if you're not all pulling in the same direction. And it doesn't matter if everybody knows the direction if everybody's not pulling in the same way. So, for us, trying to get everybody used to our core values, 1, always compete, 2, build trust and respect, 3, do more than what's expected, 4, enjoy the journey. In order for us to really implement those, we have to consistently talk about them. And that's what we've been trying to do on Wednesdays. And we've been trying to continually create some connectivity with our team. One of the ways has been, each week we ask the team a question and have them respond and send a video in, and then we combine the videos and send it out. So, each day 2 position groups get sent out, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. One of them is simple. Why did you choose Mizzou? What is the number one thing you're looking forward to when you come back? What is going on at home? Give us an update on your families. And that's been something that's been really cool because, you can sit there and see Martez Manuel, Josh Bledsoe, you can see Akil Byers and see the update of what's going on in their life. So you still are creating some connectivity. And it's been interesting because we use Zoom. That's our primary platform. Now, I hadn't been exposed to Socialive now. This is actually a really cool deal and something that we can look into. Yeah. But we've used Teamworks, Zoom, and then the good old Apple iPhone, constant group text. And that's really been the way to do it. And then the thing I've challenged our staff is don't text. Pick up the phone and call. Because I think we've got into it's such an easy deal to use our thumbs, and there's really it's just a words popped up on a screen. Pick up the phone, voice to voice. Let's call and connect with our guys and make sure that they know that we're checking on them.
See, that's amazing because like you said, it's so easy to get just in front of your phone and just, text something super simple, but it's much more meaningful, especially coming from a coach. If you do get that FaceTime or even just hearing voice, like it makes a difference. And it seems like, in everything I've heard, it seems like you're all about relationships first. You're about the culture of the kids, about everything that's going on. And so it has to be tough and it has to be difficult to be a first-time head coach at the University of Missouri. It's your first year going into your first spring. You lose out all that time. Now you're trying to make it up on the back end, but how much would that hurt and how much will it hurt to sort of have no spring practice per se a little bit, and then you miss your spring game? Who knows what else is going to happen? And you're trying to build, a culture and how you want it. I mean, obviously that's something you've run into, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's like asking if you want your leg amputated or your arm amputated. Both of them suck, And so I don't really know. It's just the hand we're dealt. I mean, it's not ideal. It's just the hand we're dealt, And so for our staff, for us, we're making the most of it. The one positive I would say, the 2 positives I would say is this. 1, college football has become so crazy with coaching changes that every school in our division has experienced some sort of coaching shift and changes, whether it's offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, or head coaches. And so we're all kind of in that same boat. And that makes me at least sleep at night that I'm not that far behind. The second thing, because the disruption is so much, that everybody's going to get dropped a set of rules, and you're going to have to make the most of it. And whoever can figure out the best path moving forward is going to have a leg up on everybody else. And, I think the one thing about our staff, and the reason why I like the way our staff is set up is we're kind of out-of-the-box thinkers. We're not in the same mold as everybody else in college football. We're kind of our own group, and we're willing to try new things and try to be different. We realize we're not going to be like everybody else, and quite frankly, don't want to be like everybody else. We are uniquely who we are. And so whenever they drop the rules out of the bag, man, we're going to attack it. We're going to, make sure that we focus on, what is essential. We'll make sure we're going to be, communicating with everybody, and then we're going to be creative. And I think if we do those 3 things, we'll be fine. We've actually studied data. I think it was 2012, the lockout with the NFL. It was maybe 12 or 14, but there was a lockout in the NFL, and they came back right before training camp. And then they went into the season, and there was a spike increase in Achilles tendon tears. And I think it was like almost 200% from the previous year. And so that was one thing that our strength and conditioning coaches are actually studying right now is, okay, what can we do different that they didn't do to prevent soft tissue injuries? And what can we do to make sure that we don't, when they get back, we don't overwork the athlete, overtrain the athlete. You can't make up lost time. So don't even put that in your mind. Figure out what do we need to do to acclimate them, be safe, and get our schemes in. And so I think we've got the right mindsets, and we'll figure it out when we get there. And so, I think the other thing for us in our team, and you kind of touched on this earlier when you were talking about these guys, the most important thing is their academics. We talk to our guys, and when I talk to recruits, which I've been doing all the time, we talk about chasing two dreams, a life with football and a life after football. Because here's the deal. At the end of the day, you're uniquely gifted to play this game. I mean, these guys are elite of the elite, just like you are, in order to play this game at a high level. And as a football coach, we're gonna give them every single thing we can, whether it's schemes, strength and conditioning, nutrition, individual coaching, whatever we can to help them be the best they can. But we also understand that it's not just life with football, it's life after football that's just as important. And my job as the head coach is to make sure I surround them with as many things like I did for football as I do off the field too. So academic, so mentoring, so social training, so financial literacy, the things that can really influence them. Like somebody talked to our team today and they said, the number one thing I want to tell you is compounding interest. And that compounding interest is something that if you would learn right now, in 15 years, you'll thank me later. And so these are the types of things that we want to pour into our players, because at the end of the day, I don't want a player to leave our program and say, Mizzou used me. I want them to say, I used Mizzou for every single thing that I could get. And that's for a great opportunity with an education, mentorship opportunities, internship opportunities, a great education, but also a great experience playing football. And I firmly believe if you can do both of those things, if you can chase two dreams, then you've experienced what college football is supposed to be. Because look, I have no idea how old you are, Chase. I think you're probably 32. Maybe 33.
3 years younger than you. I did not know you were 36. And so I'm only 3 years younger. All good.
There you go. So at the end of the day, football is going to end probably in the next, I don't know, let's say you're Tom Brady. So let's say it's in the next 10 years.
That'd be nice.
But you're going to have another 40 years to do something extraordinary. And it would be awful if we didn't prepare you, if Mizzou, which I know they have, if Mizzou doesn't prepare you for that life. And that for me, that's what football is all about. And that's what college coaching is all about.
That's amazing. And just to everyone out there that's watching, like Coach and I have, Coach contacted me right when he got the job, just text, so forth, so on. And we've talked a little bit here and there, not a ton because you're busy. I'm busy. Yeah. I get it. And so this is the first time we really dove into it. But I mean, I got goosebumps. I'm being real. I got goosebumps hearing you talk about that because everything that came before and what Mizzou means to me, and to see you and to hear you talk about Mizzou in that way, it's refreshing. And it's refreshing to a lot of people, not just me, a lot of alumni, a lot of people that went there. And it's cool to just sort of hear what you guys are doing. And first and foremost, what's more important than football.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great game. I think it's the greatest game ever invented. And it is important because it provides hope to the fans, and we're a great representation of the university. But the people that play it, they're not robots. They have a life outside of the game, and we want to make sure that that's a great life. And I tell everybody I recruit, football coach is what I do. It's not who I am. Who I am first is a husband and a father. I've got 4 girls. And I would be remiss if at the end of the day, it's about whether or not I was a good football coach instead of whether or not I was a good husband and father. And that's the same thing I tell our players is, look, we want you to be the absolute best in every aspect of your life. Number one, always compete to be better today than you were yesterday, be better tomorrow than you were today, to be the best version of yourself. And whether that's a husband, a father, or a football coach, I'm striving to be the very best that I can be at all those. But the most important is to be a husband and a father first. And in fact, here's Addison. You want to say hi? I mean, this is my oldest daughter right here.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah. So
nice to see you. So you have four daughters, and I knew this, but you reminded me that So my daughter was just born. My youngest was just born 2.5 months ago. Her name is Parker, and you said you have a 5-month-old named Parker as well.
Yeah, we have a 5-month-old named Parker Lynn, and the best story I have about her is, so we're fixing to play in the conference championship game versus ULL. I know later that night, if things go well, Missouri's flying into Wilkesboro to interview me, and there might have been other team that was coming to interview me that night too. And about 4:15, she has one of the worst blowout diapers I've ever seen in my entire life, and my wife is like, "Hey, it's your turn to change it." And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, "This is the biggest day of my professional career as a head coach, and I'm changing dirty diapers." And you know what? At the end of the day, that was way more important than calling third downs. But that day worked out anyway. So it keeps you humble, and it's good.
There's a good wife, and mine does too. They know how to bring you back down to earth pretty quickly, because everyone else is saying that it's the most important job, and that's the best thing about it. So I do want to talk a little bit about for everyone listening, because I know it's amazing. I mean, you're an SEC head coach, but I do want to talk a little bit about just your sort of rise. So I didn't realize you were with Gus in high school, right? And then you followed him to Auburn. You started as QC, right, in 2010?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
So you were at Auburn for 2 years, Arkansas State 2 years, Boise State 2 years, NC State 3 years, App State 1 year, 12-1, conference championship. Got hired middle of December 2019, right? For the University of Missouri. So, I mean, it's a meteoric rise, and you've been a head coach only 1 year before this, right? This is your second year being a head coach, which is pretty cool. So I'm still learning how to do things a little bit, but I mean, just from a fan standpoint, like I remember seeing the App State team, and just first of all, offensively speaking, I mean, we could talk for 20 hours on offense. We're not going to do that, but offensively, it was amazing, and that's sort of what you're known. That's your background. 12-1 conference championship. Get hired from Mizzou. Talk a little bit about, and just really, I want to hear it about sort of the recruiting process when you sort of heard Mizzou was coming, and there was other teams interested, I'm sure, and just sort of the decision to come to Mizzou.
Well, one thing I would just correct you on was in 2005, I was the head 7th grade coach at Alma Middle School. So I've got 2 years of head coaching experience.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah. And then, the only thing I can really even say about my ability to be in 10 years the youngest head coach in the SEC is commit your ways to the Lord, and He'll establish your plans. And that's really what I've done, is just say, Lord, this is really yours. Whatever you want to do with it, I'm open to it. And, I want to do it the right way. We had beaten Troy, and on a Friday, we'd come back on a Saturday, the next day was a Saturday. And that whole week there's going to be all kinds of job changes. And so, we all have representation, and their job is to kind of weed through, who's interested, who's not, and then just bounce stuff off of you. And then you've got to report to, your AD and whatever. And I have a team that I wanted to coach. And so I was very strategic in exactly what opportunities might intrigue me. And, it wasn't until the later part of the week, like Thursday, where the search at Mizzou had got a little bit different, and all of a sudden now they were a little bit more interested in me in kind of some things that we had done. And so on Friday, I'd gotten word that they were interested, and that if, I don't know if it was contingent on us winning or not, but we sure did try to score a bunch of points in that championship game. But when I came in, my cell phone had been blowing up, and my agent had called, and Jim Sturk had called, and Chancellor Cartwright had called and asked for permission. They were going to fly in. They were already on the plane. They were coming, and just wanted to meet. Now, the interesting thing was my daughter had a nutcracker. She was dancing a nutcracker at 7, and my wife, as you'd already told, she keeps me grounded. She was like, "You're not missing that. So, you can do whatever the crap you want to after that, but you're going to that." So I went to the Nutcracker, and then after that drove down to Wilkesboro and interviewed. And I'll be honest, it was one of those things where they were just telling me, this is what Mizzou's about, and what do you want to be? What do you want to do in order to be the head coach here, to be successful? Because this is, we're committed to winning. The thing that really made Mizzou stand out to me, one, the opportunity to win a championship was something I wanted. You know, if you're competing in the SEC, you got a chance to win a championship. So for us, our goal is to win the SEC East in a bowl game with class, integrity, and academic excellence. And knowing that if we win the SEC East, we play in the SEC championship game, and if you play in the SEC championship game and you win it, you're in the playoffs. That's just how college football playoff works. The second thing was I wanted a school that was committed to excellence and had a recruiting base. And I felt like Missouri had that. And I think they also have a unique recruiting base in that, one, we have two large metropolitan areas, St. Louis and Kansas City, but we also have a uniqueness being in the Midwest with an SEC logo. And I think that is intriguing to prospects. And so it makes us unique compared to the other schools in this league. And then it was close to home. I'm actually from Alma, Arkansas, which is about 5 hours away. And so most of my family, my wife's family, she's my high school sweetheart, live there. And so it was far enough away where we have a buffer zone, that the in-laws just can't show up without calling, but it was also far enough or close enough that they can be a part of our lives. And so it was all good. I think the other thing that was just really neat was, I think Mizzou wants to be relevant and do things they've never done before. And so that's a commitment that the administration wanted to make. And now it's my job to deliver and my job to push the envelope, with the administration and with our athletic department and with our fan base to say, this is what it's going to take for us to achieve all the things that you want to achieve. It's not just me, just hiring me is not the ticket. It's all of us raising our level. There's Bill Walsh has a saying that champions behave like champions long before they walk across the stage. There's a standard of the way they do things, and that for us is what we need to do, is increase our standards all the way across the board. And if we do that, I do think the championships will come.
That's amazing. And I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I just want to run what you said back. So when you played in the championship game with App State, you won the game. So it was an early game. Noon game. Okay. Yeah. So noon game, you win the game.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like regardless, they were going to come down and get you. You walk into the locker room.
Yeah.
Your phone is ringing off the hook. It's your agent. Hey, Mizzou's really interested. Okay, cool. Oh, wait, they're already flying down. Oh, even better. Wait, mom says I got to go to the Nutcracker. Or okay, go there. Oh, wait, and then you drive down and interview that same night.
Yeah, and there was another school that was in Boone that wanted to talk to me too. So it was a pretty interesting 24 hours.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I heard that right, because it seems like it's probably one of the coolest and best 24 hours of your life. I mean, to get hired as the youngest SEC head coach, or 36 years old, that's to me that's just insane. So we have I don't want to keep you too long, but we do have.
No, you're good.
I asked on Twitter, and I actually saw you replied to this, which we can get into a little later, which I think is hilarious. But I said, hey, what do you guys have for questions for Coach? And this is sort of what the show's about, some Twitter interactions. So just a few. A quick thought on the roster's quarterback situation. A lot of talented guys returning, and the battle for the starting job will be interesting and real. It's from Show Me Boy 6. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's that to me is the toughest situation that we've inherited with relative to the COVID-19, because quarterbacks need reps at new schemes. And so I don't care how many times you put it on a board, how many times you watch tape, they got to go out there and do it, learn by doing. We do have, 4 uniquely talented quarterbacks. I think, obviously we've got Taylor Powell, who is from Fayetteville, Arkansas, who was the backup last year and then finished the game against Arkansas. We got Connor Baselick, who started the Arkansas game, who was tore his ACL as a redshirt freshman. We got Sean Robinson, who was a transfer from TCU. And then we've got a true freshman who was an early enrollee, Brady Cook. They all 4 have unique individual talents. And I think the most important thing for me and our offensive staff is we can't just put in our offense. We've got to put in the offense that helps our quarterbacks become the best player that they can be. And so the thing about our offense that I think has made it successful is that we're able to take our offense and then make it a version of their offense for what their strengths are. And so I think, all of them are a little bit different. I think Taylor and Connor have more similarities, and Sean and Brady have more similarities, which is probably pretty cool. But whoever demonstrates the ability to lead the offense to touchdowns, because that scoring drives is what it all comes down to. That'll be the direction that we push the offense. And for us, our offense is dictated on 3 words: rhythm, attack, execute. We want to dictate the tempo to the defense. We want to be able to play as fast or as slow as we need to. We want to be attacking with a dominant downhill run game, a detailed, unselfish, disciplined pass game with horizontal and vertical threats. And then we want to execute. And for us, execution is every player, every play doing exactly like they're coached to do it and playing well under pressure. And to me, that's what it comes down to: third downs, red zone, executing your assignments. And so whoever the quarterback is that can demonstrate their ability to play with rhythm, attack the defense, and execute at a high level, and then play well under pressure will be our guy.
Yeah. In quarterback position, you got to play under pressure pretty well. So it sounds like it's going to be an intriguing and interesting battle. Another question, Sean Irwin asked, one positive about the Mizzou program that has surprised him in his short time there, and one thing he wants to work toward improving in his program in the first year.
I think the fan base's support and energy and excitement has always been since I've been here, it's been I wouldn't say surprising, but overwhelming. I think they're hungry and truly want to have a successful team. I think the thing that we have to do collectively is we have to raise our level of expectation and commitment at Mizzou, whether that's through fan base, donations, university administration, how we operate on a day-to-day basis. All of us need to raise our commitment. The one thing that I know is the SEC, while they're excited that we're there, nobody's going to make room for us. And the first 2 years, Coach Pinkel came in and won the SEC East, and everybody's like, "Oh, boy, this is going to be easy." Well, everybody in the East is continuing to get better. And I appreciate Jim Sturk and the administration. The Southeast End Zone facility is unbelievable, and that is a great project, and that put us on an equal playing field as far as recruiting. But we can't stop there. It's got to continue to grow. It's got to continue to put, your foot on the gas. And so I think all of us have to raise our level of commitment, and we all have to continue to do a great job of recruiting the best players in this state to stay in the state.
I love it. Last question. It's sort of 2-part, and this is a fun one. This has nothing to do with football. So in Columbia, Missouri, how many times have you had Shakespeare's, and what's your favorite restaurant? I swear that was most of my comments on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. All right. Here, I'm going to break Shakespeare's down for everybody. Okay. Shakespeare's is unbelievable downtown. All right. But it's different if you don't go to the downtown one. The ones at the other locations, they don't taste the same. Yep. And so, I made this big deal about how good Shakespeare's was. And then I take my family to the one, I'm not going to name the location, but they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, what in the world? It's not even the same pizza. But I've had Shakespeare. Look at my face. Okay. I've obviously had a lot of Shakespeare's pizza during quarantine. Number 2. All right. Number 2. I'm trying to get fans in the stands. And so I'm smart enough to know that if I tell you my favorite restaurant in Columbia, I'm going to piss off a lot of people. So I ain't kind of doing that. I'll just tell you this. I love Booch's. That whole dynamic is really good. I love Los Margaritas. I've had Murray's several times. The steak joint, I can't think of the CC's broilers. Unbelievable. Haas's market's good. D Rose has got the best smoked wings that I've had. I need to get
back to Mizzou. I haven't been back in a little bit. That food you're talking about is pretty good now.
Yeah, I look. If there's one thing I know, it's food. Okay, and I know sweet. I know desserts, and let's just say there's plenty of great spots. And we got to do a great job of going and eating all those places. Now, I got a couple of questions for you, though.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. I got a couple of questions for you.
I like it.
Yeah. So, who is the best quarterback to come out of South Lake Carroll? Is it you or Greg McElroy?
You asked me that on Twitter. The pre-show, you asked me that again. I'm going to say he threw for more touchdowns than I did. I got to play 2 years, but then he went on to Alabama. I went on to Mizzou. It'd be crazy if I didn't say myself, but I do think Greg is one heck of a quarterback and has gotten in the broadcast realm and has actually done a really good job with it.
Yeah. Okay. So Mizzou was tabbed as QBU in Sports Illustrated. There was 4 schools, maybe 5 schools listed. And, you know, when you talk about QBU, you've got Brad Smith, you got Drew Lock, you got Blaine Gabbert, you got Chase Daniel. Which one of the 5 do you consider to be the true QBU quarterback?
At Mizzou?
Yeah, and for full disclosure, Drew Lock just sent me a text message. That clown hasn't responded to text in like 5 weeks, and he just sent me a text and said, "You know, Murray's is your favorite." So, like, you've got the entire NFL on lockdown right now. I mean, they love this thing. But so who's the? I mean, you got Drew in Denver. You got Blaine at the Tampa Bay. You got you with Detroit. Brad Smith, I mean, arguably got Mizzou going back in the day, and just a great person. Matty Mock, I mean, won the SEC East. James Franklin, who I haven't mentioned, James is still playing in Canadian Football League. I mean, there you go.
Really good run, and the thing I liked about it was, you know, Corby Jones sort of like got us going in a way a lot of people never really would have thought, right? And got us to a level. And then it was just sort of and then Brad gets there and it's just like, oh my gosh, here's a guy before his time, like before the offense was really could run for 200, throw for 200. And I just, you know, for me, I can't speak about the other guys. They're all amazing. But when it comes to Brad, like he has a special place in my heart because when I came in, he was a redshirt senior. I was the true freshman, you know, bright-eyed, bushy-tail, like, yes, sir, do whatever you want. And first of all, he is a better person and a better Christian than he is a player, first and foremost. Like that to me is like the role model, the example, unbelievable. And just what he was able to do and what I was able to learn from him in my time there is something that I'll never forget. And it's not in it, like you said, it wasn't just about the on-field play. Like, he taught me all the quarterback stuff and taught me an NCAA quarterback. And back then it was Big 12 quarterback, but it was more like how to carry yourself around your teammates, how to interact with your teammates. Okay, hey, we're having QB O-line dinner every Thursday night at G&D Steakhouse, which we still did throughout our time. You're like all that stuff, So that to me, he has a very special place in my heart. Yeah. And so I tried to pay it forward when Blaine came. So I helped recruit Blaine as much as I could back then. Yeah. Blaine was like one of the top prospects in the nation. I mean, 6'5", 6'6", like 240, runs like a 4.4, like prototypical guy. And so when I was a true senior, he came in and he was a true freshman. So I tried to sort of play that relationship back that I got from Brad to Blaine. And Blaine goes on first round pick, so forth and so on. And I think, what is it after that? It's James and it's Maddie.
And then Drew.
And Drew. And I mean, the exciting part about Drew for me is just what he was able to do. He broke some records of mine, but records are meant to be broken, so that's okay. But what's cool about that, and for him, is just sort of how he carried himself, right? Through the entire process. He had some ups, he had some downs. He hurt his, and even going in the NFL as a rookie, probably wasn't drafted where he wanted to be as far as like early first round, like, top 10 picks. But he never let that get him down. And he always just sort of kept that chip on his shoulder. And then he went 3-1 the last 4 games of the year and got back to 3. And so, they're going to be a team to reckon with. So, I mean, like you said, the more I talk about it, it's a little bit of QBU.
Yeah. The cool thing, some advice I gave, I had a quarterback get drafted last year and he ended up he was the first pick of the 4th round. And the one thing is ET talks about, you're here now. You're here now. However you got there, it doesn't matter. You're here now. What are you going to do with the opportunity? And I think that for me has been exceptional for what Drew has done. Is it didn't matter. He got his opportunity and he's maximizing that opportunity. And I think even, for you, you've been able to maximize your opportunities at each place you've gone. And hey, there's no reason to apologize, even for me. Like, I'm here now. Like, crud, I don't care if I'm the youngest head coach in the SEC, 1 year experience, whatever. I'm here now. And now it's what we're going to do with it, with the opportunity that we have. All right, last question for you.
All right,
okay?
I like it. I like this.
So I get this job, and, obviously I check Twitter, and, like, I constantly get tweeted, hire Chase Daniel as the quarterback's coach. So my question for you is, I know you're going to play 10 more years. You're probably on the TB12 method or whatever. What is it that you plan on doing post-football? You're talented in a lot of different areas. Have you ever considered coaching, or are you planning on continuing to do the broadcasting, or what do you think?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And it's been talked about a lot. And I feel like I can play at a high level for 3 or 4 more years. Really, truly do. And maybe longer, Do I want to do that? I don't know. I'm sort of taking it 1 year at a time. I signed a 3-year deal in Detroit. We wanted it to be a 3-year deal because we wanted to be there. We wanted to help, build on something that Coach Matt Patricia's building and Boston building. And so that was what was fun. And so I don't know. I mean, it's going to go back to just the family time, right? Like,
yeah,
I've talked to my wife about this. I think I'd make an excellent coach. I really do. And I think I'd make an excellent head coach someday at some level. But at the same time, like, I see the amount of effort, the amount of time that not only you, but multiple NFL coaches put in. I think it's worse in college because of the recruiting. And I say worse in just talking, because the time away from family is very important to me, just like it is to you. And this is actually, a positive about for you. You're getting to spend time with your girls, right?
No doubt.
It's not always like that. And I feel like in college it's never ending. So I would love to get into the broadcast realm, I think, unless somebody makes an offer that I just can't refuse, and maybe try it out and stuff. But just from seeing it and being around and feeling like almost like a second coach in some scenarios, that's probably the way I'm leaning. But like you said, hopefully it's 3 or 4 years down the road.
Hey, do you stay in touch with the Hasselbacks at all, Matt and Tim?
Yeah.
Do you know those guys?
Matt, very well.
Yeah. Those are great people. I've been able to connect with those guys just through the broadcasting and stuff like that. And
they're great.
The one thing that's interesting is I talked to Tim about this same question, and he said, I thought I was going to get into broadcasting so I wouldn't spend time away from my family. And last year I had 129 nights in hotels and 78 car rentals. And so I think, no matter what you do, the problem is what makes you elite is your work ethic. And regardless of whether or not you're going to be a broadcaster, a football coach, or whatever, you're going to push yourself to be elite. And no matter what it takes to be elite is time. And that's so true. That would be my advice to you.
I think you're recruiting me. I think this is a recruiting pitch.
Well, I'm not trying to get you to take my job as the head coach, but hey, we'll see how it all plays out.
Man, Coach. Hey, listen, we're out of time today. I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to end this broadcast, but we can stay in the back little green room and talk some more. So everyone out there, appreciate it. Coach Pinkel, really looking forward to that one on Friday. Can't wait. Coach, once again, really appreciate you.
Hey, I'm going to send you a picture